came over as puppies. He had no idea what I was saying.
Well, say something. See if he recognizes. Speak Polish to him.
Yeah, jak się masz? Oh, yeah. That'd be something if he answers, doesn't it?
You gotta be louder.
Oh. All right, let me get my pen. She brought it with her. That's awesome. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Where did you buy that from?
Barnes and Noble had it. They had it on the shelf. I didn't even have to order it.
Yeah, people tell me they were out.
Nope. I got the last one.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And we couldn't find it.
You will like this. Here, let me tell you some pictures here, okay?
Okay.
So you know that this is a Nazi town here, where I was 7 years with a Nazi officer. That's my accordion there. I play the music. So okay, this is my accordion, me.
Another page.
And this is in Germany here, on a Nazi farm. And
Wow.
this is a school. I mean, I was there. And this is my motorhome here, and play the accordion. So I should have brought the accordion, make a little music here. But it's like, and this is reunite with my sister, 58 years, never seen her, and I reunite with my sister here, and the other one didn't want nothing but two sisters.
Well, Mitka, you're here.
Pardon?
You're here.
Jawohl, I know.
You ready?
I'm ready. I'm kind of ready.
Alrighty. Well, it's been 80 years. How's it feel?
This goes back here. Sit here like that. So you know, like think back 80 years.
A lot of emotions are going to come out. So the building is built, so we'll never forget.
If I would have lived here, I probably would have been working on this building here. Laid a bricklayer.
Why the museum is on a national mall. This is the first photograph here, and it's hard to look at. Again, at any point, if you need a break, let us know. For everyone in the group, including you, Mitka, I asked people on the tour, what do you see in this photograph here?
Wow. You know, this, when I was on the Nazi family, I had to go Bad Hersfeld in Pappenwald. I had to pick up all this what you got down there in the wagon and take it into Rodenburg, sort it out, and the Nazis sold it to his own government.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And I know my colleague is going to be doing an oral interview with you later, and so we're very interested to hear about that during the oral interview. So we see bodies. Do you notice the railroad tracks as well here?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. At the top of the photograph, what do you see? You actually alluded to it earlier with General Patton. Mitka, what do you see there? The people. What kind of people are at the top?
Because I was in New Orleans in the wagon, no Patton, and I got very, very sore about that. Because he liberated me in 1945.
Yes.
He more or less was the man that actually won that war. And yet he got no name on it.
Wow, that's too bad. So these are soldiers, they're U.S. soldiers at the liberation
I remember,
Ordrup
I remember the uniform real well,
Yeah.
real well.
So Ordrup concentration camp, right here, and look at the facial expressions. For anyone in the group, how would you describe their faces? And
You can't describe it.
It's like
You can't.
disbelief.
it's hard, yeah. It's indescribable in a lot of ways, right? The soldiers, I want you to keep that in mind when we get to the second floor. You'll see another photograph that looks quite a bit different. But these soldiers came, they liberated the camp. They were very disturbed by what they saw. The question comes, why does our museum, in terms of telling the story of the Holocaust? Some visitors come and tell me, well, the Holocaust took place in Europe. It was a European tragedy. It was a genocide in Europe. So the question is, why is your museum here in Washington, D.C.?
Well, I can tell you in person the name and everything else for that time. The expression, the faces, and all that stuff. I can tell you that because I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
And I had to pick up all that what you see there in a Nazi wagon and take it down to the road boy on the folder, and he put it in a big, when a mountain got big, he put it in the wagon and took it to Kassel. Have you heard that name, Kassel? And he sold all that stuff, what I just told you, to his own government to make money.
And like I said, my colleague, Ina, is definitely wanting to get all of that to share with her during the oral interview. So we exist in Washington, D.C. for several reasons. One, as you were pointing out with Patton and the other soldiers, they helped end World War II and end the Holocaust, right? We cannot understand the history of the Holocaust without the Allied powers defeating Nazi Germany. More Jews and other victims would have died if not for the military defeat of Germany at the end of World War II. The other thing we're going to talk about is the American response as knowledge of this persecution was coming to the American people. There's a myth that nobody in the United States knew about the persecution of Jews until the liberation of the camp. There was access to information. And Americans had to decide, were we going to accept refugees? What were we going to do about the Nazi threat? And so it was very intentional for the museum to exist on a national mall. The museum's founding chairman, Elie Wiesel, a Holocaust survivor, he was very adamant about that as well. And he said the museum's not an answer, it's a question. And our mission as a museum is to think about our responsibility in the United States in particular, in a democracy, right? What is our responsibility when we see acts of persecution and killing and threats of genocide and actual genocide? So we're going to continue in color as well.
You went back in '84 to Dhaka.
Yeah.
You know, I was in a cattle wagon inside, and I heard the machine gun going, and I was wondering where was the machine gun that was shooting people when the train was moving, the lane by the railroad track? You know, until I ran out of a little hoisting. I call it hoisting. You follow the running board, and then you go to the end, and you go up on the ladder, and on top, inside, it's a wheel to stop that cattle wagon. I don't know if you got that like this, because I tell you, what really happened. Right there, what I told you.
Yeah, we'll definitely look at it. So maybe you can find Patton in here. So Generals Dwight Eisenhower, Omar Bradley, and George Patton viewed the corpse as a concentration camp victim. So he's over here. I think I know which one he is. You might be able to identify him in the photograph.
It looks like Eisenhower here.
Yeah, okay, very good. And I believe, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but this may be Patton over here. I'm not 100% sure. I know he is in the photo,
Yeah,
so maybe
I
that
gotta
one.
have
That's, yeah, so, and these were, Eisenhower was very insistent when he came to the camps that it needs to be documented for future generations, really for our time today. And there's a quote here about the things I saw beggar description. The visual evidence and the verbal testimony of starvation, cruelty, and bestiality were overpowering. I made the visit deliberately in order to be in a position to give first-hand evidence of these things if ever in the future there develops a tendency to charge these allegations merely to propaganda. And so Eisenhower invited members of the press and Congress to come and to record
This one.
There you go. So he's there. We have him right here in the exhibition. So come follow me this way, please.
Do you
Vibrant history and culture before this time period, right? So while we are a Holocaust museum, we have to understand that there was an important culture that was forever changed, and many people who were killed or their lives changed forever. And so before the Holocaust, you had Jews throughout Europe, in places like, where you grew up as well, in Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, Western Europe. This map with the videos you see, what they're showing you traditional life in different parts of Europe prior to 1933, before the Holocaust took place. And if we come over here, it might be hard to see, but there's a chart, and what it's showing you is the percent of Jews in different countries. Now, anyone on the tour here, what percent were Jews of Germany in 1933?
0.88.
0.88, less than 1% of the population in Germany. And not only that, but the Jewish people of Germany tend to be concentrated in large cities. So what that meant for a lot of individual Germans, they may never have encountered a Jew. And they may have not had a lived experience of what it meant to be Jewish or who a Jewish person was. The reason why I bring this up, as we start to talk about the Nazi rise of power, and Adolf Hitler and the other Nazis who used propaganda, they were more easily able to, if somebody converted from Judaism to a different religion, in normal cases you are no longer a Jew. But for the Nazis, remember, they're using false scientific beliefs. They want to somehow justify it doesn't matter. You can't not be Jewish anymore. So what they do in the Nuremberg laws is they try to define who a Jewish person is by your grandparents. So if you had no Jewish grandparents practicing the Jewish faith, you were German. If you had one or two, you were considered a mixed race or a Mischling. If you had 3 or 4 Jewish grandparents, you were considered a Jew.
The way I understood, there was none of this what you just said. I heard nothing. I was just there, and you know, of your whatever you explain, you know if you're a Jew or not, and the circumcision and all that stuff,
Yeah, and that's so if you were, so that was another thing that the Nazis did, was for a Jewish male, if you were circumcised, that was one way they could identify people.
That's for sure, yeah.
For the women, it was harder, right? So the armbands and the stars were all efforts that the Nazis used to identify Jews. Another one, we talk about laws that they passed. They also require, in 1938, in August, Jewish men are required to adopt the middle name Israel, and Jewish women the middle name Sarah, without the H at the end. And the reason is that way that Jews could be clearly defined and separated from the rest of society. And for a lot of people in Germany, they understood this as there's something different about these people. Him to freedom, question mark. Do you know who that might be representing, symbolizing?
Go close one.
Yeah, it says non-Aryan, and so this is depicting a Jewish person. And there's a swastika here, and the notion is, you're being told, leave Germany, time to go. Where are you going to go? There's a stop every place. Evian conference is in the distance. Maybe the Jewish people in Germany will have a place to go. I told you, though, that wasn't the result, right? Only one country was willing to accept any refugees as a result. So why didn't the Jews just leave? Where could they go, right? Now, I will calling off the Night of Broken Glass or the November pogroms. And the reason why this is significant is because, on the one hand, there were some Germans that were not pleased with the destruction. Not mostly because they cared about the Jews, but they were concerned about how this would look in the world. They were concerned about whether other countries would respond. A lot of the Western powers, like the United States and Britain and France, were really upset, but they also didn't, declare war on Germany. They didn't do a whole lot in response. So what Germany does is they stop public persecution for the most part after Kristallnacht, but they realize they can move forward with private clandestine.
The first time you mentioned Kristallnacht, I got some ladies here. I forgot now. Was it you? She didn't know what was Kristallnacht. You know what I mean?
Someone didn't know it?
I tried to explain, but
Wow, yeah.
You do better explain than myself here. But somebody didn't. People didn't know nothing about what you were saying. Nothing. So how can you?
That's our mission of our museum. We're working so hard because we see the same thing, Mitka, that there's a lot of people who have no understanding of this history. So that's why we want as many people to come to the museum. A lot of my work involves outreach around the country. So we work with people who never step foot in this museum. We're trying to do what you're asking for. So it's very important to us, yes. Why do you think the Nazis would have persecuted some of these individual groups?
Well, that's way before me, my time.
Yeah.
My-
Anyone
my-
else know why they might have gone after political opponents, Jehovah's Witnesses, or to want to belong? The notion here was you're going to be a good mother one day, like that you're going to have beautiful babies, right? And that you're going to help the German race expand and be great warriors. They were telling all the young children right away that, well, the only thing you need to do judge the bishop and German men in the military. What is the point here of all these photos? The point is the Nazis use propaganda and a sense of belonging to give people in different positions of how the Nazis are able to perpetuate mass murder.
Okay. Gee, look how much money went into it to do that. Holy crap.
So this is a really interesting part of our exhibition. We tend to call it a tower of faces. And this is photographs of traditional Jewish life in Eastern Europe in a town called Eichstätt, which is in modern-day Lithuania. And we actually recently restored some of the images so they are easier to see. And I just want to give you a minute to look. The Holocaust has not taken place yet for this community yet. This is in the decades before. And we're trying to honor the individual to say they're real people, right, who had full lives.
You learned that putting all the streets on. Where did you learn this to speak like that?
Oh, lots of speech therapy as a kid. My mom was very good about making sure that I did that. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Nazis rival point in that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Albert
very
Montfort,
different
you know,
experience.
like in Dachau, they have a sign out there, Albert Montfort. You know what that means, don't you?
Oh, a work makes free? Yeah, we'll actually see a replica of that sign on the third floor. So for that reason, I want to make sure.
Yeah, I know you got to go. I know you.
About to happen, but we'll talk about it in a little bit more. So this is the rail car on your right, the back of it. You see it? That's the back of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Now you're coming to my department. I'll be damned. That's exactly like that. Exactly. But only thing that's missing is a running board.
Okay.
They have a running board connected with this set here.
Wow. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth.
That's what the machine gun was there to shoot people down when they escaped the cattle wagon.
Wow.
You-
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
Because why would be the machine gun? Why would you put a machine gun outside when the train is moving?
That's a good point.
That
I
was
don't
right
know.
in there.
Yeah. So I first want to mention, before we get to, we'll talk more about the rail car in a moment, but chronologically, we're starting the third floor about the ghettos, right? So the history of the ghettos. In 1939, if you remember, the Nazis have invaded Poland from the west. The Soviets a couple weeks later invade Poland from the east. So all of Poland at the time is under occupation at this period. You're actually, your wheelchair is standing on the cobblestone from the Warsaw Ghetto. And so the question comes up, why would the Nazis move Polish Jews and other victims into ghettos? Does anyone have a thought why they might do that?
Just to control them.
To control them, to separate them, right? So part of it was the Germans, the Aryans, the so-called Aryans, the good people need to have the land and they need to, be separated from the so-called bad people with the bad genes. But also, the final solution, even as early as 1930 or as late as 1939, was not quite decided yet. The Nazis knew that they didn't want the Jewish people around anymore. They had to figure out what to do with them. But it was not yet the decision in 1939 to try to murder every single Jew in Europe. That comes in the next several years. So it's a temporary place to move Jewish people into these blocked off spaces, right? And so some of these photographs here are showing what is going on in the ghetto. And for the Jewish people who are being sent to ghettos, they were being told, you're going relocation to the east. A lot of people had no idea specifically what was happening to them. They didn't know that they were going to eventually be killed. And so you'll see that they're bringing their belongings, right? And they're told if you don't go, you're going to be shot. So what choice did they have? If we come down this way, and like I said, we'll go right back to the rail car in a few minutes.
Just a minute, Mike.
I just want to point out.
His foot's.
This is not my work here, boy. That's your work.
He was a bricklayer.
Yeah. No, I want to see.
You want to spend a little more time?
finish the
Yeah,
wagon
we
first.
can do that.
That
Yeah.
hook over here, is that another hook up front? Just see that hook right there? Right there?
So which one?
See that hook?
The hook
The hook.
by the door.
The
Okay.
door hook.
Yeah.
Is that, that hook is in the wrong place. It should be on that one. When you shut the door, the hook goes like this. Boom.
Wow.
Lock the door.
Yeah, you'll see it when we go over there, Grant.
Wow. Yeah.
We're going to
That's
this.
a very
Oh, you're
good
going around
observation.
there?
Yeah.
See that,
Yeah.
this is no, the way I remember 6-year-old boy, the hook is the wrong place.
Wow. That's
Oh,
so
maybe
fascinating
it's
that
the
you make
wrong
that
part.
observation. Yeah.
Is there anything marked on that thing where that thing was?
Yeah, so this is what I was saying earlier. We don't know the entire history. We know that that rail car was donated to the museum from Poland after World War II. It is not clear that that rail car was used with the transportation of Jews to be murdered in a concentration camp. It is possible.
Too good of a shape here to be
Yeah.
used. The one I was in, you could see it. You could see it from inside out. You know.
Wow. And please tell Ina all of this in your oral interview if you want to, right? I'm trying to save your telling of that for then so you have enough energy. So yes, we definitely want to hear that when we record you after.
Did you ever see the wheel inside? Is that wheel?
Well, you'll be able to go inside. Yeah, we can do that shortly. Yes. Yes. And he started to collect an archive in the ghetto. And he got other people to join in as well. They started putting letters, documents, into the museum. these are photos, again, typically from a perpetrator perspective, or maybe somebody who was an onlooker of those deportations. Just like with the Nazis telling the Jews going into the ghettos, or the other people into the ghettos, that you were being relocated, they said you're being relocated to the ease of Minnesota. The notion that you weren't going to be killed. How do we know this? What is this person holding? A guitar, right? They bring their possession. They can only bring some possessions. People are bringing their forks and knives. They're bringing their plates.
Back up my next slide. Yeah, so you believe that 18 years ago, there wasn't like this sitting here looking at it.
I know, the running boards, you're gonna come back.
They took the running board off that, anyway.
It's better mileage without it.
It's more fuel efficient. More fuel efficient that way.
No, that thing is in a good shape.
You too.
No, I'm in a bad shape.
We just need to recondition you like that.
Yeah.
You take off your running board. You want to touch it?
Chalk on it. You got something?
I think you ran out of words yesterday when they were interviewing you.
There was a running board on the running from here to the little hoist here, you know. And the running board that thing, you know, and then about 10 inches wide and over. Go to the little hoist. I call that a little hoist. I had to run away. And I had the little hoisting machine that I was in. Then I know. Yeah, 80 years ago. My friend, 80 years ago. I was 6 years old.
Can I put this on so we can hear you? Why are you holding that?
Who hear you? Who wants to hear me?
I want to hear you.
Oh,
Me, just me.
John wants to hear.
Do you have a light on there?
I do have a light with me, yes. Give me just a second.
Here,
Do you mind telling me the?
Yeah. The fucking right in there, right in there.
We need to make a chalk mark.
Yeah, I try to make a truck over his visit. Don't you dare.
So, Mitka, where are we right now?
Where I am right now, I'm sitting right there in my wheelchair and try to figure out how I'm gonna get out.
Fascinated me about this space was when you talked about getting outside and the machine gun. Can you tell me about that?
No, I was wondering where I saw when the train was moving, you see bodies laying on the ground, see? See, train was going, there's a body, you know, they didn't go fast, just slow, went slow down. And I was wondering how did they get shot, you know? So I was curious, and there was a running board on the side, the running board, like that thick, you know?
Yeah.
And I just followed the running board and I got it in that little hoist, and that's what the machine gun was there to people, you know, people that do open a door and they try to escape, and they killed them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that you didn't understand, even as a kid, why people were out in the open.
Well, no, I didn't say that. Why they were in the open? I was just wondering how the people got shot.
Oh.
Because machine gun could not have been outside.
Oh.
There had to be some kind of cover.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Got it.
How many people were in the car with you about?
In here,
Yeah.
I would say about 100 people crammed in there like a sardine, and I was one of them. Can you picture yourself? In other words, if you fainted or something happened to you, you couldn't fall down. You had to stand up.
And how long do you think you were in here?
In a cattle wagon, that I don't know. Because the Germans were in charge.
Were they yelling at you guys when you were in here?
But
Were they yelling?
they were not yelling, they were beating you with a stick.
And where were you when you got out of this cattle car?
Well, see, I remember now, you talk to me in adult language. I was a kid 6 years old. What do you know, a kid 6 years old?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
You know nothing. And the only thing I was curious, where the gun was that killed people when they opened the door and tried to escape. And I found out that all hoisted. I thought that's the German way to say hoisted.
Mitka, thank you for telling us this story in this space.
There was a lot of picture yourself crammed in here with 100 people. No food, no water. But I know the bucket was right here.
Yeah?
You don't want to kick the bucket.
That you go to the bathroom.
We'll push them out.
We're good. Yeah. The sun like a half moon, you know, like a half moon. Yeah. The sun was not like that.
Over our shoulder. Say hello to John Farahi. Thank you for introducing us.
What was here?
He's going to record that. We're going to show this
Oh,
to him.
okay. So, old John.
Look at the camera. You're looking at him. We're going to send it to him.
Oh. Hey, John, are you there?
So you made it. You got the cattle car you got to see after 80 years.
I still don't know what you mean. How to.
We're going to send this to John. You wanted to thank him.
How do I? Oh, I got not going to
Just
talk.
talk. We're gonna tell him on the camera. We'll send it to him. Just say hello, and
John.
he's gonna see this.
You know who John is? don't you?
Yes, great guy.
Yeah. I spoke in his place over 100 people.
Would you want to send a message to him?
Not particular.
Okay.
I just want to say who's going to buy the beer.
Okay.
Thanks, Mitka.
No, that John. Yeah. If you would have been here, I would have showed you around. That's 80 years ago, John, I was here, if you can hear me. 80 years ago. That's almost impossible. But the cattle car is there, the hoisting is there, I'm here.
Mitka, you told me that you wanted kids to know something very special. You said to be good to each other and not be mean to your parents. I remember you saying that. How do you feel about in this moment? What do you want to tell kids?
I don't remember saying it the way you're saying it.
Well, how did you say it?
Here's some youngsters.
Say it to these
Yeah,
kids.
well, what's the youngster?
Right here.
Right here.
Oh, they were a little younger, but these guys are too old here.
They came to the museum to learn, and now they have living history with them.
What was very sad in my life, I was on a Nazi family, and he had a dog named guard dog, Asa and Molly. And Molly bit me in here, and I still got the scar. And when I spoke in Elko, I said, Molly is, first of all, when I went in a slaughterhouse to get water for the animals, because you don't have a water in a stall. You had to put the water and carry it in a stall with the animals. And he when I probably was in the field at that time when I come home, and I got the water over here, and he made sure that I see Molly's skin laying there. And it broke my heart. And Molly's the dog that bit me. And I tell the kids from school, I said, he's actually not dead because I carry his scar. And I got the scars with me. It was very sad for me. Molly was very, very sad, and I didn't know how to handle it. And when I spoke in Alco, and when I speak to you, that I couldn't finish the speech. My wife and my daughter, I just finished the speech. I got emotion involved. So.
The dog was skinned alive. His carcass was on the ground, and the skin was laying on the ground, and his carcass was
Very,
hanging.
very sad moment. Even today, sad, never goes away because I carry the scar. Yeah. Because it's impossible that what those days like that, but it's not. Yeah. And that was 80 years ago. You believe that 80 years ago, and I'm still standing there with the soldier was here with the guns. So I was good enough to cattle wagon. Yeah.
Mitka,
No, I didn't do it.
can you tell us the story about your name and how old you are?
Oh. Why do you want to know?
What your name is, and you have multiple names.
Why do you want to know?
We just want to share with the students.
Why do you have multiple names?
Well, I got so many names because when I was in Kiev, you probably know the capital city in Ukraine. I was in Kiev, and in Kiev there was an execution site. That's how I call it, execution site. And right away people say, are they Jews? Now, how the hell do I know? I didn't tell them to drop your pants and let me see it. And he was in Kiev there was the execution site, and they shot a lot of people, over 100,000 people. I was one of them. I fell on a pit and people buried me alive. But that was in Kiev, and I never knew the name. And later on, decades later, I found out that called Bobby Yar. I don't know if you ever heard the name of Bobby Yar. And I survived on that. And then a Nazi officer came, real high-ranking officer. And he came in, he looked for a little boy, and I was it. So he took me with him, and I stayed with him 7 years. And I'm still alive here. That's hard to believe. Still alive.
And Mitka, what did you do for the man who took you? He sent you to gather things.
Why don't you buy the book and read it?
Is that your book plug, Mitka?
I got a book done. If I tell you, then it wouldn't be no fun reading a book. I mean, it don't make any sense.
Mitka, thank you so much for this honor, for everybody here to hear a story straight from you in this wonderful place.
Yes, thank you. And I, talking about Molly, I couldn't finish the speech. My wife had to finish speaking, and my daughter.
Give me this foot.
Because
Thank you for sharing it with us.
and I don't think you find another survivor alive like I am.
Here, I'll walk with you.
You're never gonna find one. What you need to beat someone.
Want to beat people?
You wanna beat somebody? Get the camera over there.
Tour guide was like, yeah, it's built really great. Move on.
Yeah, well,
It's designed to be a train station. He didn't explain that to you. That's what this is. How so? With the steel, the railroad tracks are the lights. If you notice, everything is really industrial, even the elevator and everything is just all steel, real industrial like a
see, I'm a builder actually, but this is wonderful structure, wonderful
So
structure.
there's a whole purpose in why there's red brick in here, just like a train station would have been.
Oh yeah. I see the walls too.
All the doorways are different. Like even the elevator you came to come up here was a big station.
That's wonderful, yeah, wonderful. Wonderful, look at the brickwork, look at the brickwork, go way out there. Yeah, and stuff,
One for each of your campers.
it's, yeah.
Can you reach? Do you want to put them up here?
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful.
Flip sideways.
So you have no idea, John, what was happening.
It's painful memories, but
What a memory. 80 years go back.
the important part is it's not forgotten and it's being told to the future.
Have you heard the rain sport? Have you heard of that? Yeah. And look what John is missing. He should know these type of things.
We're here. That's all it's
Then
important.
maybe he can keep it rabbi a little longer.
I'll use that.
No. It's beautiful. I can do nothing.
You guys are going.
Some Slavic
What do you?
He's asking you where you should buy from.
From Poland.
Poland. Yeah, that place my address. It's the Indian name. And he was in 2 camps. Which camps were you in?
Which one?
It's a long story. He was taken and became a child slave.
Which camps were you liberated from?
He was never liberated from the camp. He was taken out of Fafnwall. Yeah. Nazis took him out, put him on the farm, put him in a slave for 7 years. So he was liberated and wrote them a folder.
So, you've heard a little bit of Mitka story. Mitka can't read or write, but some folks had documented, including his wife of 70 years, and they wrote a book. The book is very popular and very, very, very hard to get. However, we've got a copy for everybody here. This is from your publisher. So they knew Mitka was going to be here. They flew him in. This is all they have. They have no more this week. So if you want to pass them out. Well, we'll do that over lunch and stuff. We'll get them to sign them. Thank you. So,
Terrible memory.
Go ahead. Good.
Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry.
that's okay.
Oh, okay.
We got 2 books for you to sign.
Yeah, well,
What?
This is Laura and I's special copy.
well, I try to
Your hand is ready.
sign my different name here. But
No rush.
muy profesor, sobre una puesta.
I'm holding the chair. I go ball.
Thank you.
What were you on a book signing in Reno?
I was with
You
all
were?
your.
We're not done.
Thank you.
We're at now.
I'm the one lucky one that survived. Everybody behind me.
You have extra. Someone needs it.
This is
I call everybody little like mushy.
mushy.
It's a little mushy.
I love that.
It's a little French name, but
I love
it's
it.
a little mushy.
Little petit mushy. He's gonna take Buffy. All right. It was nice knowing you. She's like, "Are you making fun of me?" What did I do with my phone? Was it here? Yeah. Oh. So, have you enjoyed your trip to Washington, sir?
Oh yes. I've been. I was only one time down early 1950. You know.
Okay.
And that this was not like, well, this was there, but not all of it.
Yes. It's changed a little bit since the 50s.
They put little Hillary Clinton in here. No, I met her. She's a fine lady.
Oh, wow.
She actually kissed him on the cheek too.
Yeah.
Good. That's a proud moment.
He had one just like the Shotzi.
Oh, Shotzi.
He had one just like that. He used to.
Yeah, they're the best. Doggies are the best, aren't they?
Yes, they are. He has a little mini pincher at home now.
Yeah.
Roger.
And I gotta take like a 2-hour break when I sit down. It's a lot. So we don't want you to get too tired today. So this is now talking about the deportations that are happening. And these are photos, again, typically from a perpetrator perspective, or maybe somebody who was an onlooker of those deportations. Just like with the Nazis telling the Jews going into the ghettos, and the other people into the ghettos, that you were being relocated. They said you're being relocated to the east. It was a euphemism. The notion that you weren't going to be killed. How do we know this? What is this person holding? The guitar, right? They bring their possessions. They can only bring some possessions. People were bringing their forks and knives. They were bringing their plates. And so the reason why these are such striking photos, it shows all the bureaucracy, number one, needed, and the amount of people who had to be aware of this, right, within Germany, and the allies and collaborators. Oh, you mentioned the stars.
There were stars right there, yeah.
There you go. In Germany, 1941. And then the other thing it shows and it hurt. And so the question becomes, why would you do this? Yeah, so actually it was, the paint was redone when we got it. So we went down to the original layer of paint and then they restored it, which is part of why it actually looks pretty good. Yes.
Let me see. Well, you can get in or go there. No, it's all tied up.
Just let me know. Anybody needs to go to the potty, there we have a designated escort in back who will show everybody where it is.
80 years ago, we have a bucket, so we set a bucket over there.
We didn't have one today. We're not prepared.
He was showing us where the bucket was in the car.
Yeah, in the cattle car?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if there's something you wanna say to me that you don't want necessarily to have recorded.
I'll give you a different language.
You give me a different language. No, it'll still be recorded. That's the problem. It will still be recorded. Somebody out there. Now, the other thing is, unless you say otherwise,
Hello?
this interview is gonna be on the internet in its entirety. So people will be able to see it from anywhere.
Oh,
from their
I got
computers.
all this down now, I can see that.
No.
Face for radio.
I'm gonna run away.
No. Wilson, okay?
Well, go ahead.
So, yeah, I remember you said that, or in the book it's written that, you know, you didn't have a chance to say goodbye to the animals. But by the time that happened, I think Molly had already died. Can you tell me how Molly died? What
No,
happened there?
No, I can't, no. He must have got killed when I was busy feeding the animals or something like that, you know, outside,
Okay.
you know, or maybe I take a misspelling, the mist is a, now I want to speak half German and half English.
Oh, you mean by mist, you mean you take the manure to the
Yeah,
fields?
manure,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
To the field. Well, I was away, and he got probably because when I got back and got to the washroom to get the water and I see the skin laying there. So what does it tell you? He wanted me to see the skin, right?
Who was this? Gustav?
I don't know who really did this. I was not there. I said but I saw the skin,
You saw the skin.
and the molly was gone.
I see.
And for the little boy, which I was, what do you think I did this to me? How I felt.
It must have been awful. It must have and awful. In other words, you loved the animals, they
I
loved
the
you.
animals so much, yeah.
And one of the adults sees you have this relation with the animal and then kills it as a result.
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know nothing. I just know. I just tell you what happened.
Yeah, you
Sure.
Oh no, in English.
Or Russian or Ukrainian or Polish.
Nein, das ist kein Problem.
In
Get master
America.
languages, but you still can't.
That's 3 kilometers away from Rodenburg. Prague, they call it Prague. You find on a map. Prague. They were sitting down there until Easter Sunday. One older man took a white flag and walked towards Prague, and the Americans came into Rodenburg, and what the answer, what the question, things happened to what they said to me. We could have moved in the Rodenburg long time ago. We wouldn't even know what would have hit us, and that's Gerald Patton, Army, telling us that, but the guy with the white flag or all of it. If they would have moved in earlier, we wouldn't even know what would have hit us in Rodenburg. And something else I want to say to that. I don't know.
In other words, are you saying they would have been fighting in Rodenburg?
They wouldn't have no chance to fight. Patton would have destroyed everybody.
Okay.
I mean, that's my opinion now. I don't know how well you know the end of the war.
Well,
And,
it depends on what place one is in, but of course.
well, the war was on Bad Hersfeld,
Yeah.
or Fulda, or Kassel even. That's the side that they came out.
Do you remember seeing a soldier, any American soldiers?
Oh yeah, yes. After they came to Rodenburg, I did. They were so kind. I even stayed with them. You believe it?
Tell me.
And then when they had to move off, I want to go with them. I cried. I want to go with them, but they could not take me. Maybe you know why.
Why?
That you just don't. If you would have talked every time you go in the town, you have a whole goddamn town full of people.
Yeah. So they couldn't take a little kid along. The war wasn't over. They
Yeah.
still were going
So-
further.
So I did cry a lot, very much. Very emotional. And that cattle car today, it's funny though. When I saw the car, the parts were missing on it. That's what made me okay. You know, that didn't gripe on that because parts were missing on that cattle car. And I told these guys, you know, that the running board, number one, the running board was going that way, and that connects it to the hoisting. You know what? A small
little
hoisting.
house, yeah.
You could take a ladder, you go up there, and that hoisting is a little taller than the roof of the cattle wagon, the hoisting. And I want to know, because I want to know where the shots was coming from to kill the people that laying on the ground, and that little hoisted machine gun nest, and I found out myself.
So you're talking about when you walk through the museum's permanent exhibition today, you see that we have a cattle car here.
Yeah.
But did it have a little house on top?
Yeah,
a little
they had a
hoisting?
little hoisting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it had a place where the machine gun would be.
Well, that definitely, but I just maybe I was joking. I don't know. I told the guy I will come back and fix that. Put the running board on that thing what belongs. The running board's gotta go back on that thing.
Okay, it was missing. So one of the episodes I remember reading about at the end of the war, and maybe this is before the Americans arrived, was it Anna who takes you by the hand and takes you to a place where you see an execution?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yes.
What happened?
That was on a Good Friday, 1945. Good Friday.
Good Friday, got it.
Oh, she took me to Lispenhausen.
Okay.
Lispenhausen is between Hersfeld and Rodenburg. And Lispenhausen right in the middle.
Okay.
You follow me on that one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Lisbon. And it was a brugge. It was a brugge.
It was a little bridge.
A bridge. That underneath the bridge, the train goes and the Fulda runs underneath it down there. They stop the traffic on all sides. Stop the traffic, and here I am with Anna and Rosemary was not just Anna and me now. And me naturally, I had to go a little further than Anna. A little guy can get away with that kind of stuff when you're not supposed to be there. And there was a line of people down there, and this German soldier, all with the whole mess of with the rifles, shot all the people was standing down there, shot them dead right in front of my eyes, and they had that flat car, load all the bodies, and throw it out, pile them up like a one another.
And do you think Anna knew there was going to be this execution?
How would I know? I was with her.
You were with her.
How would I know what was on her mind?
Do you think they wanted to get rid of you by that point?
I have a feeling no. To that point, no. But how would I know too? Or let me know what can happen to you if you. But anyway, they execute all those guys down there, and that not enough that died, but that officer, a German officer, took that revolver, and each one of them shot in the head, and I still see the blood spraying out of the head. Now that's not a pleasant way to talk to you, is it?
Well, it's not a pleasant thing to see. It's not a pleasant thing to experience.
That's what happened on a Good Friday, 1945, and then some of them they're buried on a road, or up by Lisbethausen, and then when the American invaded or came back to Rodenburg, they made the Germans dig it out and put it in Bebra Cemetery. They're probably there now. In Bebra Cemetery, those people were buried by the road, Scheller Road.
So the Americans don't take you, even though you would have liked to go with them. So do you go back to the doors? Do you know that you are free to leave?
I was forced to go back to the doors because I got no place else to go. Americans, that they had to move someplace else, and yet they could not take me along with them. So I had to go back to. But now when I go back to the Door family, things are different now. I didn't get the beating like I usually get. I know something changed, but I didn't know what it was.
And nobody tells you anything?
No, nobody told me anything. I had to find out when Anna gave me a note and tell me go down by the river. There's somebody going to be waiting there with a boat, and they give it. I had to go across the water. The bridge will blow up. I had to go across the water, and to what the note says to bring them to Anna, and a boat tipped over halfway down a river. Boat tipped over while I was doing all this stuff. That machine, the rifle was pointing, American were pointing, because under martial law, maybe I get ahead of myself.
No.
Under martial law, you're not supposed to be on the street. I mean, that's the way I understood. Under martial law, you're not supposed to be out. And Anna sent me out with a note. What does that tell you? That she tried to get rid of me. If I wouldn't have drowned, maybe American would have shot me, one or the other.
But you didn't.
I'm still here.
And did you go back then?
And I thought, well, they got chewed out from the Americans, you know. But anyway, now that lady upstairs,
Ingeborg.
where I, huh?
Ingeborg.
No, that's a different lady.
Okay.
That's one deck lower. That's one the higher. That's what the upstairs, and she got. I'm getting. I gotta take a break on this here.
Okay, do you want us to cut?
I don't want to get me or you in trouble, man.
I cannot read and write, so.
We knew. Okay.
So 1, 2, 3. There's a running order connecting to this set here.
Wow. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth. Before we him to freedom, question mark. Do you know who that might be representing, symbolizing?
We'll go close one.
Yeah, it says non-Aryan, and so this is depicting a Jewish person. And there's a swastika here, and the notion is, you're being told, leave Germany, time to go. Where are you going to go? There's a stop every place. Evian conference is in the distance. Maybe the Jewish people in Germany will have a place to go. I told you, though, that wasn't the result, right? Only one country was willing to accept any refugees as a result. So why didn't the Jews just leave? Where could they go, right? Now, I will.
This is a United States Holocaust Memorial Museum interview with Mr. Mitka on November 30th, 2023 at the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum facilities in Washington, D.C. Thank you, Mr. Kalinsky, for agreeing to meet with us today and to share your story. And we much appreciate that you are willing to do so. And we very much want to hear what you have to share with us and with the public. I'm going to start our interview with the same 3 questions that I start every interview. But I understand that the answers may not be as straightforward in your case as they are with some of my other interviewees. So my very first question is, what was your name at birth?
Mitka Kalinsky.
And you know that for sure?
No.
We will come to
Because I was a young boy in those years, and the Germans actually gave me the name.
Is Mitka a nickname, or is it?
I think it's there's so many ways you can pronounce Mitka, but actually I also was called Dmitry Kalinsky, Dmitry, and that's kind of sounds Irish, doesn't it? But it's really a little Russian there.
Is that the official name you go by today?
No, I go by Dmitry usually until the book came out that we changed it to Mitka.
Okay. But on your documents, like your passport, driver's license, what would your first name be?
Dmitry.
Dmitry Kalinsky. Okay. Do you know where you were born? The place you were born?
Well, that's been a question mark for many years. But I was in Biela Cerkva in the Ukraine, remember that part until the Germans came to the boarding school and picked me up with the other kids and sent us to Babi Yar.
We'll come to that point. And do you know the date you were born?
That again, Nazi officer came to the death camp in Germany and got me out of there, and on December 14th, 1942, and he kept me that birthday, December 14, 1942. But it's really not mine. I don't know. I'm one of those guys don't have nothing. My mother was burned alive in 1939, so back by myself again.
When you say he took you out of that final concentration camp you
Yes.
were in, December 14th, 1942?
Yes,
And he gave you a birth date of December 14th. But was it 1942 or 10 years earlier that you
42,
were born
42.
in 32?
yeah.
Okay.
So that kept me because he's not supposed to take me out of that because I was too young. You cannot take anybody out in those years. That's the German government. Till you're 10 years old, so I was under 10. So, but being that he was a Nazi high-ranking officer, he made me 10 in 1942. So 10 years old.
10 years old.
And we kept it that 10 years old.
So, on your passport now in the United States, or on a driver's license, is that the date of birth that you have recorded?
December 14, 1942.
Well, 32.
32.
32, yeah, okay. Well, there's a story behind each of your answers, and we'll come to that. Right now, I want to focus on the very beginning, your very early years, and what are the memories that you can share about who your mother was and who your father was, from what you remember, not what you learned later, but from what you remember. Do you have any memories of your mother?
You ask a really good question. I remember a lady put me in a crib, and she went out, and when she was walking out, I saw the long hair she had, and she went outside the door and closed it until last time I saw her, and I always had suspicions that was my mother.
So that's a single memory somewhere from when you're very little.
But I got hardly anything at all about my family.
Refer to as we're talking about.
You want me to put that on the side? Yes, sir.